Master Yoda was revered by both Jedi and Sith alike as one of the greatest lightsaber duelists the galaxy had ever known. Even Darth Sidious, who held respect for very few Jedi of his era, recognized and even feared the skill of the Jedi Order's Grand Master. So why did a young Anakin Skywalker, only a Padawan at the time of his claims, assert that he could defeat Yoda in lightsaber combat? Anakin, of course, was one of the more headstrong and arrogant Jedi of his time, having been deemed the chosen one from the time of his inception into the Jedi Order, and progressing far more quickly than his fellow Padawans. Anakin's overconfidence was not born in the absence of reason. He was good, very good, and he knew it. Before the Clone Wars began, Anakin had never seen Master Yoda in action, and so a combination of arrogance and lack of experience would lead a young Anakin Skywalker to voice a very misguided view of the discrepancies between himself and the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. Just before the events of Attack of the Clones, Anakin and Obi-Wan were sent to aid Jedi Master Luminara and her apprentice Barriss Offee on a mission to prevent a key planet from leaving the Republic. On said mission, the Jedi encounter numerous threats and challenges, several of which required the Jedi to fight back. And following one such instance, as depicted in the Legends novel The Approaching Storm, Barriss commends Anakin for his skill with a lightsaber, stating that he might even be able to give Master Yoda a good contest. At this, Anakin blinks, and the conversation between the two Padawans goes as follows. "Master Yoda, you must be joking." Her smile vanished. "Why would I joke about such a thing? Master Yoda is reputed to be the greatest lightsaber master ever. Don't tell me you never had a fighting class with him." "Of course I had classes with him, and I agree that he's a fine teacher of technique, even if he does have to stand on a platform so that his students can see him. His dexterity is amazing to see, especially considering his lack of reach." Earnestness crept into his voice. "That's just schooling, Barriss. It's all theory and supposition. Even if it's being taught by Master Yoda, it's not real fighting." Barriss considers Anakin's words here before questioning him on why he thinks Yoda has never participated in hand-to-hand combat, and at this, Anakin holds back a laugh before doubling down on his belief that Yoda's small stature would prevent him from competing with a Jedi like himself. Showing wisdom beyond her years, Barriss retorts, "It's not the size of the Jedi or the amount of power running through her lightsaber, but the strength of her heart." And displaying his inexperience, Anakin shoots back, "Give me size and power any day, and keep your heart." Barriss responds calmly that Anakin should be ashamed to say such things, and then asks how he can question the proficiency of Master Yoda, and Anakin wraps up his thoughts on the matter saying, quote, "I'm not questioning his proficiency. I can't because I've attended his teaching sessions. There's no one faster or more adept with a lightsaber in the classroom. All I'm saying is that teaching technique is not the same as using it in battle. Besides, Master Yoda is, well, he's not young. As for questioning anything at all, a good Jedi is supposed to question everything. Self-assurance is the best kind." And so we can see here that Anakin's belief is not free of any logic or reason. He seems to believe that Yoda is too small and too old to defeat really any soundly trained, human-sized Jedi, and that may even include Barriss herself at this time. And given that he is the most gifted Jedi in the Order, and that he's never really been involved in truly serious, life-threatening combat like he'll see in the Clone Wars soon, nor has he seen Master Yoda in such circumstances, he's confident that he would defeat Yoda rather easily. He simply doesn't know what he doesn't know. But it's not long after these events that Anakin encounters Count Dooku, who swiftly humbles the young Padawan as the Sith Lord easily dismantles Anakin and Obi-Wan on Geonosis. And it's also here, of course, that Anakin bears witness to the true skill of Grand Master Yoda, who not only saves the two Jedi, but then squares off with Dooku and ultimately forces the Sith Lord who just cut off Anakin's arm to flee. Here, Anakin's respect for Yoda grows immensely and only continues to do so as Yoda fights in the Clone Wars. But what the conversation between Jedi Padawans also reveals is one of Anakin's fundamental flaws which continued to plague him for the rest of his life. He is flat out arrogant and often dismissive of his opponent's abilities. Self-belief is great, but Anakin tends to focus inwardly far too often, a truth that is reflected both in his overconfidence and in his insecurity. He thinks about his skill, his power, what he's going to do to defeat his enemies, how he is going to prove himself. He rarely considers considers his opponent's skill set, how they are approaching him, and how they may counter his moves. In his younger years, this is more problematic as he simply encounters adversaries who are more powerful than himself, like Count Dooku. As he grows older and more experienced, however, Anakin can get away with arrogance because he becomes more powerful than most. But still, even after his turn to the dark side, his overconfidence does haunt him. He thinks he has surpassed Obi-Wan in strength, and he does not consider Obi-Wan's advantages. He thinks he can simply overpower and outmaneuver his old master without recognizing that Obi-Wan is expecting that approach and has been trained to defend against it for years. Darth Vader plays right into Obi-Wan's hand, and it costs him dearly. Now, the what-if scenario of what would happen if Darth Vader had faced off against Master Yoda is an interesting one, because during his turn in Revenge of the Sith and going forward, Vader is obviously far more skilled and experienced than the teenage boy who completely underestimated Yoda, but it's still my belief that Yoda probably would have dismantled Vader. In Revenge of the Sith, it is Yoda who goes toe-to-toe with Darth Sidious, coming a breath away from victory, while Anakin loses to the man who Yoda insisted was simply not strong enough to face Sidious. Various factors played into those fights, of course, but it is my belief that Yoda would have wiped the floor with Anakin at that time. And I also believe that he would defeat a suited Vader as well, as long as his health hadn't yet gone into a steep decline, because as Barriss expresses to Anakin and as Yoda tells Luke, it is not the size of the Jedi, but the strength of their heart. Vader's overconfidence plagued him for virtually his entire life, and it would be no different here, as he encountered one of the few swordsmen in the galaxy who may actually have just been better than him. Yoda, who had seen Anakin in action many times, who had taught every Jedi who came through the Order in lightsaber combat, and who had proven his skill against the very best duelists in the galaxy, would not be hindered by size, as that is all he had ever known. Vader may be big, but such factors mean very little to Master Yoda, as he has proven time and time again. It is interesting though to gain insight into the mind of a young Anakin Skywalker, to see how some of his beliefs were radically changed through experience while others remained relatively constant throughout his life. It is worth pointing out that at the time of his discussion with Barriss, Anakin, while certainly cocky, does not actually view himself as one of the most powerful Jedi in the Order by any means. On their mission, Anakin stands shocked several times by the skills of Master Luminara, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and even Barriss Offee, quietly acknowledging that he still has a lot to learn and that the capabilities of the two accompanying Jedi Masters on this mission remain far beyond his own. His thoughts on Master Yoda in particular were somewhat of an anomaly, as Anakin simply underestimated the tremendous speed, agility, and power of the Grand Master, a misjudgment that would soon be flipped on its head. But that sums up Anakin's earlier thoughts on Grand Master Yoda, why he believed that he could defeat Yoda in a lightsaber duel, and how he was ultimately proven wrong. As always, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do remember to drop a like to support the channel. Let me know your thoughts on a potential later showdown between Yoda and Darth Vader in the comments. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.